So let's do something a little bit more complicated. Let's actually check not only the count of the objects coming back, but also make sure that we're getting the right objects coming back. So to make this a little easier, I'm going to go ahead and make an episode. Actually, hold on a sec. So what I want to do is I want to assert equals, and then my expected value is going to be some object, which I don't quite have yet, so I'm just going to put null here. And then the thing I want to compare it to is going to be episodes.getZero for the first object. I could do a lot of work and try to figure out what should go in here, but to keep this easy, what I'm going to do is just put a breakpoint and then run this under the debugger, so debug that. Okay, so I'm stopped at my breakpoint and I have episodes, and I can open episode 0. And now what I want to do is, this doesn't give me anything handy, unfortunately. Copy value probably is not going to do what I want, but let's go ahead and copy it anyhow. And then paste it just to see if I get anything useful. And I don't. Okay. So what I want to do is, hold on, make a new episode. First is new episode. And then I'm going to fill in the data. So ID is TT0579539. And season number is 1. Episode is 1. String title is the train job. And then rating, year, 2002. And rating, let's scroll down a little bit. 8.5. F, I have to specify float here. And then 3475. So just copied that. And then what I'd like to do is this. But this isn't going to quite work yet. So let's go ahead and see what it does. Continue that and then run the test method again. And the test failed. So let's look at the comparison. Click to see the difference. And the reason it failed is because these are objects at different addresses. So the default behavior for assert equals on objects is to use the equals method. And if you haven't specified an equals method for your class, then basically it's going to look at whether they're at the same memory location or not. So this is basically whether the same object rather than whether they're equal objects. But that's not what I want. So what I want to do is define an equals method for episodes that's going to do what I want. And that's actually not too hard. So I'm going to go to the episode class, and let me put this right under my constructor. I'm going to add an override of public Boolean equals, and that's going to take an object O, and then if O is equal this, so if it's the same object, return true. If O is null, return false. And then I'm going to say if O.getClass is equal this.getClass. So if they're the same class, then I'm going to make an episode out of my object using coercion. And now that I have two episodes, let's go ahead and say if m under id equals o dot get id. So if this is not true, return false. And if not m under, actually I'm going to need to scroll a little bit here. Copy all of this stuff for reference. And let me just paste that in for a while. So season number not equal o dot get. Oh, this should be a, so no wonder I'm having trouble here. Or e rather, e. Let's try this again. And then season number not equal e dot get season number. And then if m under, got an extra exclamation point in there, episode number if and I need to use equals here because it's a string, not equal. And then year and rating and finally num votes. So if none of those things is true, then the two objects are equal, so I return true. Okay, so that looks about right. Let's go ahead and try our test now. Okay, and it worked. So let's do another one. So I'm going to run that under the debugger. And this time let's look at the last object. So the last object is 13. It has those values. So let's go ahead and make a last TT05795538 114 message 2003 8.5F 2980. And let's go ahead and wrap it there. And then I'm going to add another assert equals last is episode get 13. Now, I could make an array list with all 14 episodes in it and then do the comparison. And if I was spending more time on this, I probably would do that. I would pull the data out of a query like so, and then use a text editor to find and replace regular expression, pattern matching, to actually turn this into constructors for the objects. But for this, it's close enough. And I just want to run the test and see if it works. And it does.